Same as usual, working at your own pace, making sure that nothing is causing pain or discomfort as in joint pain. Muscular discomfort entirely up to you. If you need to stop and have a little stretch, stop and stretch. If you can keep it going for as long as you can. Usual props, a ball and a band. If I don't have a ball and a band, a cushion will do instead of the ball, and then a strap, a belt instead of the band, or just to help with the support, and then maybe a little bit of a resistance. So same as usual, if you're seated, just trying to find that position that allows you to breathe comfortably down into the belly. So see if I can lift myself up, creating space between the rib cage and the pelvis, so that the diaphragm has got space to move up and down to create that relaxing breath. I don't need to use my apical breathing. I don't need to use my neck, my chest muscle to breathe. I can keep everything relaxed, everything soft at the top. If you're laying down, using the mat to help relax, it's allowing the body to relax completely onto the floor, feeling the belly raising with the inhalation, falling with the exhalation. And then running that quick scan over the body. So noticing how the pressure feels, noticing where everything is. Am I straight? Am I leaning? Am I twisting? I'm not changing anything, just noticing where everything is and how I feel to begin with. Is there any discomfort anywhere? Is there any tension, any tightness anywhere? And then as you start feeling a little bit more settled, the breath that feels a little bit more relaxed, then I'm going to start focusing on the shoulder, allowing the arms to come down by the side. And then I'm going to start to twisting them in and out. Just imagine two skewers that you're trying to turn. So I'm going to turn them in, and then I'm going to turn them out. So picture the top of the arm twisting into the shoulder socket. So I'm going to twist it in as far as I can, and then twist it out as far as they'll go. Twist it in as far as I can, and then out as far as it'll go. And then noticing on the twisting, as I turn the arm in, I can feel a little bit more tension across the front of the shoulder, front of the chest. As I twist it out, I can feel the tension into the back of the shoulder, into the middle of the back. So as I turn it in, I can feel it across the chest. As I turn it out, I can feel it at the back. So comparing the arms, are they moving? Are they turning the same? Does one side feels a little bit stiffer than the other? Does one side feels different from the other? 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, relaxing the shoulders. I've got that rotation going. See if I can change the position of the arm slightly. So setting up into a down weight, and I'm going to bend the elbows, turn the palms to face it towards the towards the head or towards the face. I'm going to squeeze the elbows into the side of the body, and then I'm going to start rotating the arms out. Then I'm going to bring them in, and then I'm going to rotate them out again. Same as usual, the temptation here is to wanting to, especially if I'm seated, so I've got space, is to wanting to push the arms back. If I'm laying down, there is the floor there preventing me from pushing the arms back. So I'm just going to rotate them. But try and make sure that you're not abducting them either. So the arms are not pulling away from the side, they're staying close to the side. So I'm going to turn them out and then bring them in. And then I know which side feels stiffer, which side feels tighter. So I'm going to focus on the tighter side to see if I can get a better movement that way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the arms. It's a little bit more movement into the shoulder joint. I'm going to see if I can start changing the direction. So instead of rotating the arm into the shoulder socket, to see if I can start flexing it. So one arm at a time, I'm going to start bringing it up to the front, and then I'm going to reach it behind if I'm laying down, up to the ceiling if I'm sitting. Then the arm comes back, I'm going to pick up the other side, and then taking it back. And then I'm going to swap them over. So the biggest movement possible, just making sure that I'm not forcing it. So if I'm lying down, it's a little bit easier as I'm working with gravity. If I'm sitting up, I'm working against the gravity, so it feels a little bit heavier. So making sure that to take the arm up, you're not shrugging, you're not loading the neck. See if I can keep the shoulder down, see if I can keep a nice loose neck, a nice relaxed neck, a nice relaxed, no tension into the neck, into the head. So one goes up, one comes down, one goes up, one comes down. Allowing the elbows to stay slightly bent, just a little movement, a big movement. And then same as you did for the down weight, for the rotation, noticing if one shoulder maybe feels stiffer than the other. So focus on that side, as that side will be leading the next lift. We're going to lift both arms at the same time. So my stiff side will lead that lift. The arms will be going just as far as that stiff shoulder can go. And then I'm going to ease them back. And then as you keep that lift going, see if you can be aware of your upper back. What I want is to encourage a slight extension. So as the arms come up, think of your breastbone lifting slightly. So I want the upper back to go into a little extension. And then I'm going to bring it back. A nice lift. And then easing back. As if I was trying to bring the breastbone forward and up. And then releasing it back. So whether I'm seated or lying down, see if I can encourage the slight lift through the rib cage and the chest. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing down. Relaxing the shoulders, so relaxing through the arms, and then staying with the shoulder joint. I'm going to change the direction. Instead of a front raise, I'm going to go into a lateral raise. So one arm at a time. Again, I'm going to swing the right arm out to the side and towards the head, and then bring it down. Then with the left, I'll do the same, and then come back. Find the angle that works for the shoulder. So the arm might be a little bit forward to the body line. It might be directly in line with the body. Just making sure that the movement is not creating pain in the shoulder. With the lateral raise, is normally when the shoulder is more likely to click. So every time that I move, it clicks. If that's the case, as you get close to the point where the shoulder clicks, stop. Turn the hand just a slightly forward, back, whichever direction you want to start first, and then see if you can find a better fitting between the arm and the shoulder socket, and you might be able to get rid of that little click. Same as we did for the front raise. I know by now with shoulder, it's stiffer. If there is difference between right and left side. So same as I did for the front raise, I'm going to focus on the stiff side. So that will lead the movement. I'm going to lift both arms. I'm going to open both arms out together and then bring them back. Both together and then take them back. Checking that the neck is still feels soft, still feel loose in the middle. I'm not stiffening, I'm not tightening. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms, and then one more time, working through the shoulder. This time I'm going to try and vary the direction. So instead of just focusing on just one direction, rotating, opening, or lifting, I'm going to try and use them all. So I'm going to start getting into circles. Both arms together, I'm going to bring them up to the front. I'm going to circle them round the side and then come back. Then I'm going to reverse. I'm going to circle them round the side, bring them back to the front and then down. So up to the front, to circle around, and then round and in reverse. So again, it could be a very small circle. It could be a very big circle. Just making sure that the movement is not causing grinding. So it doesn't feel painful, it doesn't feel uncomfortable for the shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, last time. And releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the arms. It's a little bit more movement into the shoulder joint. Some movement into the upper back. We're going to focus on the upper back. So what I want is to still encourage that extension that I was encouraging before, but this time I'm going to try and see if I can make it a little bit stronger. So if you're seated, then the arms will come up slightly. Think of the elbow roughly as high as the shoulder. If I can keep it as high as the shoulder, good. If I can't, I'm just going to drop it down a little bit lower. If you're lying down, if you can open the arms so that the elbow is lined up with the shoulder. The elbows are bent, the fingers are pointing straight forward, straight ahead. I'm going to push the elbows back. So if I'm lying down, I'm going to push the arms into the floor and then release. If I'm seated, I'm going to try and squeeze the elbows towards the back of the room and then release. Squeeze it towards the back of the room and release. So see if you can think of the tension right between the shoulder blades in the middle of the back. And then at the same time, as I push them back, I think of the chest coming forward and lifting up. So see if I can encourage that extension. See if I can encourage that lift. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And releasing back, relaxing the arms, relaxing the shoulders. From extension, we're going to get into flexion. So you can use the ball, you can use the pillow, you can use your hands directly onto the breastbone, whatever feels more comfortable. Think of the hands or the ball right onto the top of the chest as a step. I'm going to place the hands around the ball, and then this time think of the reverse. So earlier we were trying to push forward through the chest and try to extend to the upper back. This time I want to try and pull in through the chest and then open up the upper back. So I'm going to push the ball into the rib cage. I'm going to try and wrap myself around it, and then I'm going to ease back. So I'm going to flex and come back. Flex and come back. So really trying to flex, feeling the stretch going along the upper back and across the middle of the back. So I'm trying to open up and make as much space at the back as possible. If you're lying down, the head will lift off the floor every time that you flex. So if the neck starts feeling a little bit tight, Then with one hand, I'm going to support the head. With one hand, I'm going to hold onto the ball. Switch inside. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, releasing the shoulders, relaxing the back. And then from flexion going into rotation. So pushing the ball to the side, raising both arms up in front of you, clasping the hands together, and then start to swing the arms from one side, rolling one way, over to the other. So if I'm lying down, I want my hips to keep still and the shoulders to roll gently from side to side. If I'm seated, I've got more space, I can use more space. I'm going to try and swing the arms far around at the back as I can, and then going the other way. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And releasing back, releasing the shoulders, adjusting the back. And then from rotation, we're going to finish with a little lateral flexion. So the arms are down by the side. I'm going to start reaching down one way, easing my way back, and then down the other side. Easing back, and then down the other side. If you're seated and you want to make the stretch a little bit stronger, see if you can reach over with the top arm. So as I flex down the left, with the left arm I'm going to reach down, with the right arm I'm going to reach over. And then come back, and then I'm going to do the same thing the other way. So nice stretch, lifting up into the side of the rib cage, into the side of the waist. If you're lying down, use the hand to support the head as you flex to the side. And then if you want to make the stretch a little bit stronger down the side, imagine your elbows to be pulling away. So I'm going to try and reach through the elbow, really trying to stretch down the side of the body. Switching the arms and then flexing the other way. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. And releasing down. Relaxing the shoulders again, adjusting the position of the head, relaxing the neck, it's a little bit more movement into the upper back. See if we can loosen up down into the lower back. Starting off with a little pelvic tilt. I'm going to tilt the pelvis back, pressing the lower back gently into the mat, and then forward back into neutral. So tilting and releasing the tilt. See if you can think of the movement coming from the belly. So I'm going to just tighten up through the belly, tilt, and release the tilt. The legs are relaxed, so I'm not trying to push through the legs. I'm not trying to squeeze with my bum. And it's a nice loose movement, so I'm not forcing, I'm not pushing too hard. I'm just trying to relax the lower back and see if I can encourage some movement down at the bottom of the spine. If you're seated, so think of the pressure going from your seat bone back into the tailbone, up onto the seat bone, and then back onto the tailbone again. So see if I can create that little rocking forward and back, making sure that I can feel the bottom of the spine, the lower back moving, not my upper back. So the upper back is keeping pretty much the same, and then the lower back is just gently rolling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, releasing the lower back, and then focusing on the hip. So first the thing, I want to loosen up the hip. So opposite to the, or similar to the shoulder, I'm going to go for a little circle. So as usual, if I feel that I need to support the leg, I can use my hands. If I'm seated, I can use the band to give a little support. If I'm lying down, I'm going to raise the leg up above the hips and then think of the tip of your knees drawing circles in front of you. So I'm going to try and circle around and then circle around. So think of the leg moving into the hip socket. So see if I can relax the hip joint. So can I try and relax it as much as possible? So nothing grinds, nothing pinches, nothing catches. The movement is only small. The foot might even stay on the floor as I circle around. It doesn't need to lift up. We're just aware of the thigh bone moving into the hip socket, so I can feel that gentle rolling into the hip, or the gentle massaging into the hip. So round and round. Reversing the circles, the circling the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, holding the hips nice and still if I'm lying down on the back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And easing down. Relaxing the hip, but relaxing the legs, same thing to the other side. The same as before, using the hand, using the strap. If I feel that I don't need that support, I'm just going to let the leg move on its own, and then see if I can find that nice, easy circle with this side. So starting small. See if I can maybe make the circle a little bit bigger. The same as before, if I'm lying down, making sure that it doesn't feel as if the hips are rocking and rolling all over the place. See if I can keep it stable through the hips and just move the leg into the hip socket. If I'm seated, the hips can't really move as I'm sitting on them. So it's a little bit easier to control the pelvis as the leg is going round. 3, 2, 1. Reversing the circle, going the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And releasing back, relaxing the hip, releasing the leg. So I can feel the hip is moving a little bit more. I'm going to try and focus on different directions. So first the thing, I want a hip flexion. So I'm going to place the right hand against the right thigh. If you're lying down, you might want to put the ball or the cushion between the thigh and the hand so that you don't have to reach too far, so you're not straining the shoulder. And then with the hand, I'm going to push down With the leg, I'm going to try and lift up. Then I'm going to relax the tension. And then again, push down with a hand, pull up with the leg and release. So see if you can feel the front of the hip trying to lock, trying to bite, trying to work. So I can feel it tensing, then I'm going to relax. I can feel it tensing, then I'm going to relax. I can feel it tensing and then relax. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then release. I'm going to take my hand away and then same side, the same leg. I want the leg to now start lifting. So think of that tension that you're creating against the hand. See if I can now use that tension to pull up on the leg. You feel the hip connecting, lifting, and then down, lifting, and lowering back. And then, same as usual, if I feel that I can't really get that connection going, then I'm going to guide the leg. So I can use, again, the hands, or I can use the band to guide the leg in the right direction, and then ease it back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release it back. Relaxing the leg, moving on to the other side. So I'm going to place the hand against the thigh, or the ball between the thigh and the hand, and then pushing down, pushing away with the hand, and then pulling up with the leg. Release, and then again, I'm going to tense, let go, tense, let go. So same as before. See if I can find a connection into the hip. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Taking away the arm, and then see if I can now get that leg to pull away. And then come back. 2. Again, using the strap if I feel that I need that little guidance. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Relaxing the hip, releasing the thigh, and then I'm going to focus on the inside and the outside of the leg. So grabbing hold of your ball or the cushion, and then placing the ball between the knees. I'm going to shuffle the feet a little bit closer together, and then both legs at the same time. I'm going to squeeze into the cushion, squeeze into the ball as hard as I can. So imagine a ball there, you're trying to squeeze so hard that you want the ball to pop. Then I'm going to ease the pressure, and then I'm going to squeeze hard again. And then release the pressure. Think of the tension going through the inner thigh. And then same as you've been doing for the hip flexion, if I need a little guidance, I'm going to use my hands. So I want my legs to squeeze in, and then I'm just going to let them relax out. I want them to squeeze in, and then let them relax out. So whether I'm seated or lying down, see if I can get the strongest squeeze into the ball. And then as you're keeping that squeeze going, see if you can be aware of your pelvic floor muscles. So think of your front passage. Men and women, no difference. Think of tightening up from the front passage and then lifting everything up towards the inside of the body. Then I'm going to relax. Again, I'm going to tighten up and lift and then release. Tighten up and lift and release. 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Releasing the tension, relaxing the inner thigh, focusing on the side of the hip. So if you're lying down, I want you to roll over onto your side, setting yourself into clown. So the head is supported using the arm, using a block, a towel, a cushion. The knees are bent, one on top of the other. I'm going to keep my feet together and then think of that top leg. I want that leg to turn out, the thigh to turn out and to lift. The hips are staying facing forward, and then I'm just going to control back. I can use my hand to guide a little. If you're seated, you need resistance. So if I'm lying down, I've got the weight of the leg working against gravity. If I'm seated, there is no resistance. So I've got two options. I can either use the hand on the side of the leg, same as I did before. So instead of pushing down, this time I'm trying to squeeze in, or I can just put the band around the legs. So I don't have to worry about tensing through the arms. And then focusing on one leg, I'm going to push out. And then I'm going to control back. So think of the tension into the side of the leg, side of the hip this time. And then releasing. So pushing out, control it back. Push it out, control it back. 4 more. 3, 2, last one, and releasing back. Relaxing the hip or releasing the leg. If you're lying down, switch yourself around to the other side. If you're seated, just focusing on the other leg. Pushing out into that leg and easing back. So against the resistance of your hand or against the resistance of the band. If you're down on the side, same as before, making sure that the head is supported, the knees are together, the feet are staying together, as the top leg is going to turn and lift. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and easing back, relaxing the hip but releasing the leg. If you're lying down on your side, I want you to roll over onto the back. If you've got the band around the legs, undo the band and push it to the side, and then we're going to work into the back of the hips into the back of the bum. So if I'm lying down, the knees are bent, the feet are flat on the floor, I'm going to bridge my way up. So squeezing with the back of the bum, I'm going to drive my hips up into extension, and then I'm going to ease them back. Squeeze them up into extension, and then ease them down. If you're seated, bring the feet just a little bit closer to your chest. And then leaning forward into the legs, so squeezing with the back of the bum. See if I can pull away and then ease back. So am I able to lift? I might not be able to lift it fully. It doesn't matter. Think of the weight going into the legs. So see if you can give it a good squeeze. And then I'm just going to release back. A nice squeeze. And then release back. 4, 5, using the arms for a little help if I need to. 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, and releasing back, relaxing the hips and releasing the legs and giving the legs a little bit of a stretch. So right leg, I'm going to bring it across to the left. So if you're seated, see if you can physically cross the right leg over the left. If I can't lift it to bring it across, I'm just going to pull both legs off to the side. Left hand is going to pull the leg across, and then with the shoulders, I'm going to turn the other way. So see if I can create a nice stretch that comes through the hips into the back. If you're lying down, I'm going to move my left leg out of the way, bring the right leg towards me, and then I'm just going to gently bring it into a little stretch across the front of the body. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Switching sides, so I'm going to move my right out of the way, bring the left in, and then gently across. If I'm seated, I'm trying to cross the left leg over the right, or just pulling both legs off to the right. See if I can get the stretch down the side of the hip and across the back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Returning the legs back to the middle, adjusting the hips. If you're lying down, slowly pushing yourself up into sitting, finding a comfortable seated position. So set the legs, whichever position feels more comfortable for the hips and the back. Leaning against the sofa or wall, something that is not going to slide away, or just using the arms as a support if you need to. And then same as we did at the beginning, so see if we can try and create space at the front of the body, but this time I'm not just creating a little space, I'm trying to make the space as big as possible. So I'm going to start to pushing the breastbone forward, the chest forward, I'm going to lift it up with the think of the breastbone lifting away from the pubic bone. The belly really stretching out, stretching up. I'm going to raise through the chest and drop the shoulders. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to look up. I feel the stretch coming up the front of the throat. I'm going to look back as far as I can. Then releasing, I'm going to let the chin come down to the chest so the shoulders come forward. I'm going to roll my way down as far down as I feel I can go. And then up again. I'm curling back up, extending your way through, pushing the chest forward, shoulders back. Looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing, coming forward. Rolling down, allowing the head to drop, the shoulders, the back to relax. Last time, I'm curling all the way back up. Extending your way up as much lift as you can. Looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing all the way back to the front. One hand on the belly, one hand on the back. Take your bow. Give yourself a pat down. Any question or anything as usual, please say. Remember, you need to unmute yourself first.